off my property. Dude, woman, man. What is he thinking?
Chaos erupted in the Chicago neighborhood of Old Irving Park on October 25th after federal agents used tear gas and arrested people during an immigration crackdown shortly before the start of a Halloween parade in the community. Video images showed angry neighbors confronting the agents as tear gas rose in the air and several people were pinned to the ground. "Get out of our neighborhoods," a resident was heard shouting at a group of agents. At one point in the confrontation, a federal agent dragged an elderly bystander walking her dog and shoved her, before another onlooker pulled her away. Tensions have been high in recent weeks in Chicago, as the administration of U.S. President Donald Trump has ramped up his efforts to deport immigrants living in the U.S. illegally, arresting many without criminal records. The Trump administration in early September launched a deportation crackdown in the Chicago area, targeting what it said were hardened criminals among immigrants in the U.S. without legal status, though many non-criminals have been swept up in raids. The aggressive immigration enforcement effort, which has no end date, has sparked widespread protests and resentment among residents. Hundreds of federal agents have fanned across the third largest city in the U.S. and its suburbs, often carrying assault rifles and wearing military fatigues.
Without tariffs, we wouldn't have national security like we have it. We've never had national security like we have it right now. And literally a year ago, you had very little national security. You had people that didn't have a clue. American strength is roaring back like never before, and with your help, America is respected once more, and it is respected at levels that we haven't seen before. On my first day back in the White House, I deployed the men and women of the United States military to stop the invasion on our southern border, right? It was an invasion, losing hundreds of thousands of people to fentanyl and to drugs, and now we have the most secure border in American history. For 5 months, they said no people came into our country illegally. They came in through a legal process, but nobody came in through the southern border. Can you imagine? Even I can't, it's hard to believe that. Because, and we do have it tight as a drum, but that's what we have to have. If you don't have borders, if you don't have a fair media, if you need certain things. You need a good, fair media. They're getting better. They're not there yet, that I can tell you. But they're getting better. But you need borders. You got to have borders in a country, or you don't have a country. And now we have a border that the likes of which this country has never seen before, and people respect us for it. With the help of our war fighters, we're decimating the savage drug cartels that poison our people. 200,000 people, maybe more than that, died last year because of what came into our country. Through an open border policy where 25 million people poured into our country, totally unvetted, totally unchecked. They came from prisons. They came from mental institutions and insane asylums. They were drug dealers. They were bad people. 11,388 were murderers, half of which committed more than one murder. They let them into our country. We're getting them the hell out. We're getting them out. We're getting them out fast. Is that okay with you? Yes, right? I have no doubt. Got to get them out. Just an unforced era. And we're also straightening out our cities. You know, Washington, D.C., our beautiful capital, was a killing mess. People getting killed all the time. It was very high crime. And we sent in our National Guard. Again, great people. And I don't say they were totally politically correct. That's okay. And now it's a very safe. Now it's considered a very safe. It took 12 days. We got 1,700 people, career criminals, many of which came in through Biden's open border, and they infiltrated our nation's capital. And we had a very unsafe capital, but for years before that, it was very unsafe. Now it's as safe as there is anywhere in the country. You can have your daughter, your girlfriend, your wife, your boyfriend walk right in through the middle. Nobody's going to touch them. The crime is down to almost nothing. It's a whole different ballgame. It took literally 12 days, but let's give us a month to do it really. We had it drum tight, and it's a beautiful thing. And our people in the service, and you know, people don't care. If we send in our military, if we send in our National Guard, if we send in Space Command, they don't care who the hell it is. They just want to be safe. And we have safe cities now. We're starting in Memphis. And Memphis was a disaster. It's been there. They've been there for 2 weeks, and it's a whole different story. Crime is less than half, and within a month it'll be gone. Getting rid of all the bad ones. And we're going to go into Chicago. We're going to go into our cities. We're going to clean them out. We're going to straighten them out. And we're going to have safe cities because you want to protect safe cities. We're going to have beautiful, safe cities, and it's happening very quickly and very easily, actually. It's easy for us. It's hard for them. And we have to have a little more help. It doesn't matter, really. We can do as we want to do, but it would be nice to have more help from some of the Democrat governors that don't mind. In Chicago, 2 weeks ago, 4 people murdered, 11 people shot. This weekend, it was like terrible, much worse than that. And then we have a governor that stands up and says, oh, it's wonderful. It's not wonderful. And what we're doing is we're going to make it totally safe. It'll be very safe very soon. And we're doing that with all of our cities that are troubled. We have cities that are troubled. We can't have cities that are troubled. And we're sending in our National Guard. And if we need more than the National Guard, we'll send more than the National Guard because we're going to have safe cities. We're not going to have people killed in our cities. And whether people like that or not, that's what we're doing. And you've been watching what our missiles do to boats and ships and submarines. How about the submarine? They said, no, that was just fishing. The radical left Democrats said, well, it was a submarine, but they were just fishing. Submarines don't go fishing, do they? You know more about submarines than I do. You have a beauty park outside, actually. This is a submarine, and you know what it was designed for? Transporting drugs, and it got hit. But each one of those vessels that we hit kill, on average, 25,000 people, American people, every single year. They kill, each one of them kill 25,000 people. So we have to stop it, and we have stopped it. And I want to thank Pete for having the courage to do it. And believe me, people are very honored that you do it. 25,000 people for each boat. For many years, the drug cartels have waged war in America, and at long last, we're finally waging war on the cartels. We're waging war like they'd never seen before. And we're going to win that battle. We're winning it already. The sea, I mean, the only problem is nobody wants to go into the sea anymore. Even the fishing boats, they say, let's take a pass. But they don't want that. But we're knocking them out one by one. And very importantly, we've almost stopped completely the drugs coming in by sea. And now we'll stop the drugs coming in by land. That's going to be very easy. More importantly, we're ending wars. We're ending wars all over this planet. And as you know, and I said before, I ended 8 wars in 8 months, the most of any president in history. No president that we know has ever ended any war. A lot of them go into wars. But this includes Kosovo and Serbia, the Congo and Rwanda, Pakistan and India, Israel and Iran. You saw that. How about those B-2 bombers? They went in there. They took out that nuclear capability. They would have had, Iran would have had a nuclear weapon within 2 months. Not anymore. Egypt and Ethiopia, Armenia and Azerbaijan. That was going on for 35 years. Big, horrible war. And just this month, we ended the war in Gaza, in the Middle East. We ended the war in the Middle East. Nobody thought it was possible. And we also just signed a deal in Malaysia between a war that was just starting, Cambodia and Thailand. So we saved millions and millions of lives, and I did it mostly verbally. We didn't have to get you involved. When we don't get you involved, that's a good thing. We don't want you to get involved. If I can avoid you getting involved, if I have an ability to do things that maybe other people don't, or we see things, but we stopped a lot of those wars based on trade and tariffs and penalties, and you know, they're getting all ready to fight, and then we tell them, no more trading with the United States. We're putting tariffs on your nation, et cetera, et cetera. It's called national security for us, but it's really national security for the whole world. And everywhere we go, America is actually making peace, and it's peace through strength. When they look at this, when they look at you people, they say, we're not going to mess around with them.